Don't make me feel sorry for you. Are you? Fucking Jesus!
That's what you're gonna.
I'm still fucking irritated by that comment. Like, holy shit, how unprofessional. But let it go. We got to get into podcasting, so let's do this. Welcome everybody to The Calling Couple. I'm your host Gage, along with your wonderful, beautiful co-host. That is my wife,
Sage.
And today we're going to be talking about some stuff that we said that we would talk about last time. But before we get into that, I want to give a good fucking shout out to a film that I feel flew under the radar for 1993, which I get in 1993 we had some blockbuster films that came out like Jurassic Park and Schindler's List, like that.
Which is why this movie was
under the radar.
Or overlooked or whatever.
Yeah, definitely overlooked. So I honestly would suggest that if anybody that's listening to this, go on Tubi right now and check out this film called Judgment Night. It is fucking phenomenal. It's a great suspense thriller and very plausible scenario, which is so crazy.
Yeah, it was good. I was really surprised. It was a really good thriller for the time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember watching it as a kid, and I shouldn't have watched it as a kid. I think I was like 6 or 7 when I watched it, but it hit me so hard when I watched it that I fucking remembered it all these years later.
Yeah, when you told me that, I was just like, man, how bad is this movie going to be? But I'm just like, that movie was not, I mean, like, it was violent and there was murder in it and all that, but, like, we've seen worse at that age. It was the 90s.
Yeah. But it had a fucking stellar cast selection.
I was so surprised.
You had Emilio Estevez, Cuba Gooding Jr., Jeremy Piven, Stephen Dorff back when he was still just starting out before he got into Blade, and another good film that he did was Felon, which was a true story and shit.
Good stuff. Who was his number one henchman?
Oh, God.
Who was that guy? He's the bad guy in The Mask.
Yeah, he is the bad guy in The Mask. I can't remember.
I was like, he's good, though. I like him a lot.
But then you had Dennis Leary, who played the fucking main bad guy. And,
he
dude,
was the baddie.
You forget that he is a comedian, all right? You forget that he is a funny dude.
I think comedians make really good villains in movies because they have that dark humor, and along with dark humor comes darkness. So they play villains really well, I think.
Just like with Robin Williams playing 1 Hour Photo. Like,
oh, man. Yeah.
Like, who would?
You know what? I think we should open every podcast with that. We both have an honorable mention of movies. Because we watch movies so often, every podcast should have an honorable mention. That has nothing to do with the main podcast episode.
Well, today's episode, it kind of does go on the same category because we're going to be talking about war movies like we mentioned before.
Where I was going with that was that I was going to do an honorable mention as well.
Okay.
That zombie movie we just watched.
Oh my God, yes.
What was that called?
Train to Busan.
Yeah. It was a dub.
It's a dub film, but it actually doesn't fuck with you at all. It
didn't with us anyways. I watch a lot of anime, so dubbed movies and dubbed films don't really...
Yeah, Train to Busan, man. Like, both these films, Judgment Night and Train to Busan, you can find on not 1 Hour Photo. Oh, wow.
He's stuck on that, man.
I know, right? You can find on Tubi, which I think 1 Hour Photo was either on Tubi or Hulu. But if you guys... I think it was on Hulu. But if you guys want to, check out those films. All three of them are great to watch. Train to Busan is a zombie apocalypse film that...
a Korean...
Yeah, a South Korean zombie apocalypse that fucking, honestly, all around, I'm going to give that movie a 10 because I feel like it was based off of a manga that they did a live action of, and you know what? They really fucking killed it.
I don't know, but it was shot that way. It was very... Yeah. It was good. The special effects were pretty good. The premise was pretty basic, but that's okay. It was the storyline we were after. We didn't really care how it all began. It was the storyline itself that you cared about. You know how, like, you watch so many zombie movies where you're just to the point that you don't really care how it started?
Yeah.
Well, this is one of those movies.
You
don't really care how... I mean, it tells you, but it's not the main...
premise of the movie. Yeah. It basically just sits there and tells you,
hey,
shit, it happened,
you're stuck
on
a train. You're stuck on a speeding train with a bunch of zombies. Survive.
Yeah, and it was the CGI alone was actually pretty fucking stellar compared to some of the CGI stuff we've seen here in America lately. It's pretty fucking bad that this movie, which was a really well shot film for even a foreign country film, to be...
This is going to turn into a slight zombie episode. because I'm fixing to go on with this as well. Keep going.
But like all in all, like yeah, Train to Busan was fucking great. I really give it a 10 out of 10. It
Me
was
too.
so fun.
I really liked it. It also inspired me to want to go watch other zombie things that I've quit watching because they just kind of got repetitive and boring, like The Walking Dead. Which I was just like, they really should do where, like, you know how The Walking Dead just goes on and on with those same fucking characters?
Yeah.
In, like, their story? And, like, there's a whole fucking world that is surrounded with zombies. Can we just, like, branch off? Kind of like your supernatural theory about it being surrounded by the bar.
Yeah.
And every episode be, like, a different story with different hunters.
Yeah, but that's...
I feel like The Walking Dead should do that. With a different story about different people all over the world having to go through all this zombie apocalypse stuff. I'm just like, I could rewatch Train to Busan and pretend that it's in the same universe as The Walking Dead, and be like, that would be a good premise.
Yeah, and you really could. The thing is, though, is I think the problem why they don't let go some of those characters is not really the actors' sake. It's because they don't want to try to build another fucking character for people to like, and I think that is the worst premise. Well, they actually are doing it right
now. They just released 3, or they're fixing to release. Well, they just released commercials. They're releasing 3 new Walking Dead shows. Or it's where there's Daryl's getting his own movie.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 other like storylines that they're reintroducing.
And all those things have something to do with characters they've already built on.
It's true.
They don't want to build new characters. The show that I saw that really built on new characters and also helped with old characters was Star Wars: The Clone Wars. If you've never seen that, you gotta go watch that. Oh my god, it's so fucking
good. You always bringing around a fucking Star Wars.
I couldn't help it.
Dude, I love Star Wars. I really do.
Yeah.
But you're fucking killing me, bro.
No,
you're making me to where I never want to watch it again.
Oh, whatever. No, but
so anyways, this episode's about.
So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. But check those movies out. They're really good. They're really good shit.
And now check all these movies out.
Which a lot of these you probably have seen already, but they're going to be on our list of what we would consider some good films and why. Today we're going to be talking about war movies and not some cheesy, like, we're not going to go on the topic of Tropic Thunder. Which,
oh man, I gotta take a lot of movies off my list now.
Which, don't get me wrong, I fucking love Tropic Thunder.
Hey, you never specified what kind of war movie. Damn it, now I gotta go edit my list.
Well, it's okay because I've got a list pulled up right here. But of course, like, and we're not just meaning movies that have the title war in it, like Bride Wars or This Means War and shit like that. None of those romantic comedy crap. We're talking about ones that are going to be
that have, like, that are based on actual war, not real events, not true stories, but just like
a real scenario war in general.
Yeah, where it's like a country versus a country kind of thing.
Yeah, and a lot of these are going to be based off of World War II because that's really one that a lot of people go off of and a lot of people continue to do.
It was the juiciest at the time.
Well, yeah, because we're still to this day learning new shit that the Nazis and all that were doing.
If we want to get deep down and dirty about it, Star Wars.
Yeah. All right, so Sage, I'm going to let you start off. Where do you want to kick off your list of?
We're going to start with the movie we honorably mentioned last week that I know must be on both of our lists.
Oh yeah.
Sisu.
Yeah. Well, no, we talked about Sisu in that one.
Yeah. So I'm just re-mentioning it because it was indeed a war movie, but we talked about it last week. So if you want to hear about it, go listen to that episode. Mm-hmm. It was really fucking good.
Yeah. That movie was fucking phenomenal.
I'm not even going to dig into it because we dug into it last week.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's on next? What's up next?
Well,
oh, we have separate lists, by the way. Like, I have my list, he has his. So
the thing is they're going to be kind of conjoined on some of these. So.
Well, we have to for the podcast's sake, but there's going to be a lot of like same movies on each of our lists, but I'm gonna have some that he doesn't, and he's gonna have some that I don't.
And I'm gonna have some that Sage here herself has not even seen. So
yes, it's gonna be good because I'm just like, hell yeah, we'll watch a movie after this.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of these movies you can find on Tubi, Hulu, and stuff like that. But some of the streaming platforms that we don't have, they might be on there. So
you know what?
You might be able to find them. What's that?
Is that all the movies on my list are movies you've seen? I don't have movies I can introduce you to. Oh, well, that's not true. there's that one that I swore you saw with me that's got Falcon and Hawkeye in it.
Oh, Zero Dark 30.
No.
Yeah.
That's not what it's called.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Or no. Nope. God, I know people are screaming right now. No, it's this movie. It's, fucking, God damn it, what's that name?
Did I put it on my list? No, I didn't. Because I was just like, yeah, you haven't seen it, so I won't put it on the list.
Of course, it's not pulling up here. God damn it. I know the fucking movie. I know what you're talking about because I've been wanting to see it. Fucking, he's a Bomb Squad.
Yeah.
Guy.
I've seen that movie. I liked it.
God.
I just thought you'd seen it with me.
How is it not up here already? Where
It should be on a list of war movies.
I know. Well, there's actually a shit ton of war movies. And
I know, but if you go to Google and type in...
I did. And it's fucking killing me. Like, I'm seeing all the same fucking movies. Nope, that's Zero Dark 30. 13 hour. Okay, so we're gonna get into some of these.
Yeah, go
what
ahead.
The fuck is the
you
name?
can do the next one. I'll find
all
it.
right, so
I'll find
of course
it
we're just gonna kick this off with. I've already talked about Full Metal Jacket with an actual soldier, an actual veteran,
Mm-hmm.
and so we're not gonna really
it's
talk about.
It's not on my list, so we're good.
We're not gonna talk about that one. Oh, it's called The Hurt Locker.
Ah, damn it!
I found it.
Finally, shit.
But we're not going to talk about Full Metal Jacket because if you want to know what I have an opinion on Full Metal Jacket, you can go over and listen to American Stateside, and you can hear my opinion on that over there, which I'll leave that at the end of the video so you guys can check it out. So we're going to go with one that everybody has seen, and if you haven't seen it, you really need to check it out, and that's going to be Saving Private Ryan. We'll just kick it off with that one.
Hard, definitely my favorite.
Saving Private Ryan, man. Jesus.
Is that not everyone's favorite war movie?
It's been recognized as one of the greatest war movies to ever be made.
Literally.
It really
one
has.
of the greatest or the greatest?
I think one of, or it is
because we've watched a lot of Watch Mojos and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's always at the number one.
It's always number one.
Well, I think it was because of how much time and depth that Steven Spielberg spent on just the storming of Normandy that we got to actually see what it would feel like to be in their shoes trying to storm this beach that is heavily fortified and they're outmatched and trying to fucking get up there and take over this beach and do that. I think that you're spending a good quarter of the movie in this battle trying to get up there. Then once you get through it, you're like, okay, there can't be nothing else, and then boom, now we gotta get this one kid out because, And
then as they're going through all this, such beautiful character building. You really get to figure out how each soldier is and how they respond to things, and it's just really nice. It's really
and yet again, you had a star-studded fucking cast. Holy shit! And everybody that you see on screen demands the camera.
Yeah, that part. Because I'm just whoever put this movie together was
Steven Spielberg.
Okay, so in his individual characters and all that, did a really good job of what I think a real good, solid, platoon would be like.
Yes.
I can't remember their name, but each platoon has their own name, especially ones that are specialty platoons like that. And for them to be requested for that certain mission and all that kind of stuff, and then each character having a strong suit, but also having a weak point, and their weak point relies on the next person in their platoon that is their strong suit. And then it's a chain all the way around, so it's they're perfect. And that last link of the chain, of course, is the commander and all that. So I loved it. I was like, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love it.
What was even better is, like I said, how you get side characters that come on there and they still demand the screen. You had Nathan Fillion and Ryan Hurst,
Nathan Fillion.
who are in there for maybe a total of 2 minutes of the screen time.
Yeah.
But you remember them.
Yeah, Ryan Hurst really, I loved how his ear was blown out and he's yelling and stuff. Beautiful.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. that movie has some of the most memorable, creative scenes and characters. And even with the outcome, you're still just I will watch that again because it was just so much fun to just go along this ride as a film.
Yeah.
And then it also makes you pull back to be like, damn, this was real. Maybe not the mission that they were doing. Maybe that was actually fantasized. But
the mission itself was fantasized, but
but the actual objectives and things that they
Yeah.
did and
Yeah, the
D-Day and all
objectives.
that were real things. And
Like
that's
the
what...
bridge that they were trying to
Mhm.
protect and all that, that was a real thing. That actually was a thing that they had to hold down.
Yep.
So that was cool that they put that mission on there.
And of course, I share a special day with Normandy because
Oh,
it's
yeah,
I actually was
right.
born on June 6th, and this event happened in June 6th, 1944. So
He was not born in 1944.
no, I feel like a little goddamn. I'm getting old, but no. And so every year on my birthday, I actually do try to pay tribute to those that have served in the armed forces and stuff of that nature, because I feel like that, which honestly, that was the day that the tide of the war had turned, and it was all because of the bravery of the soldiers that went through there and the brilliant planning that was done by President Eisenhower. So, all in all, Saving Private Ryan is going to be 11 out of 10 for me on this list.
Oh, hell yeah.
It
Yeah.
is fucking.
I didn't know we were
phenomenal.
going over 10, but all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, because it's just so, like, I can't really pick anything apart, because a lot of that movie, there was a lot of scenes in there that were improvised, and the guys just did it so well that you really felt like you were a part of it, like you were the third person on this platoon,
Yeah.
seeing how this is
yes.
going.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that exactly. It makes the audience feel like they are a part of the movie.
Yes.
Yes. I love movies that do that.
And that's why I say I love that. So what's gonna be on your next list?
Okay. Well, Saving Private Ryan was on both of ours. So, one on my list. Do you want to go with one that I know is going to be on your list too, or do you want one that's specifically on my list?
Either or, it don't matter.
Okay, I'll go for specifically mine, which is not going to be on yours.
Nope.
Hacksaw Ridge.
I knew you were going to say it.
Well, you knew I was going to bring it up. I like Hacksaw Ridge. I like that movie.
I think Hacksaw Ridge is good.
I like the
I'm-
actors in it.
I'm gonna say that the movie could have been extra stellar, in my opinion, if they'd have went more off the actual story of this dude,
If they'd done
instead
more
of
of the
trying
gr-
to hold back on.
He's talking about like the grittiness of
Yes.
the real life story and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
the real life story of this dude, because there's actually more to him that they didn't put in the film that I wish they had of.
I know you watched
to
the
really
movie.
make you feel for him.
Yeah, you watch the movie and you're like, man, I can't believe that a dude really did all this and all that kind of stuff.
But it
well,
goes
then you
way
listen
worse.
to like an interview, you listen to
Hmm.
stories that other soldiers who were with him told, and be like, it actually is a lot worse. Not worse as in like he was bad, but worse as in like he went through a lot more for his values
Yeah.
than what you think he went through.
Hmm.
The movie didn't even portray it. I mean, like, the reason is though is that you probably would frown upon our army, or you would probably frown upon our
Military.
military if you knew how bad it got for him.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is to me this movie was on the brink to be on the level of Saving Private Ryan.
But because
they
they
held
wanted to
back.
tiptoe around a lot of issues, a lot of real world issues, it didn't. I
Yeah.
was like, if you had just put the real world issues in there, it would have been a freaking masterpiece.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Hacksaw Ridge is not going to be on my list at all. It is. It is on my list, but it's not really up there.
It's up there for me. I really
But
like
it
I
is
enjoy the
a good
movie.
film. And if you guys have not seen it, by all means, go watch it.
Hey,
Like-
when a man can stand by his beliefs through hardship like that,
And change our ways of the military.
yeah, and change the ways of the military like that, it's gonna be a masterpiece for me, and I love that movie.
Yeah, and like I said, it is a good film. So by all means, guys, you can leave us a comment down below what you thought of the film, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it and let us know, because we're trying not to give away too much of this stuff in case you guys haven't seen these films.
Yeah.
But we're definitely recommending every single one that we are talking about. You should go see.
And if you don't want to watch Hacksaw Ridge, just look up the real story.
Yeah, look up the real story.
If you're like an information buffs like we are,
Mhm.
you know, like if you like those real life stories, because we do that more than probably watching movies.
Yeah,
Like we'll sit here for days and just dive into YouTube videos or look stuff up on our phones and all that kind of stuff. Like junk information, man. We are obsessed with junk information.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't know why we do this to ourselves, because it rattles our brains.
yeah. But it also helps when somebody comes and talks to us about something. They'll be like, "Well, yeah, this is happening." It's like, well, hold on.
This is
Well,
why we made a podcast, so we can dump this stuff somewhere.
Yeah, we just kind of needed to get it out, man.
We gotta talk about it.
So, Hacksaw Ridge, though, it is really a good film. I'm not going to fucking knock it. It is, I mean, it could
just
have
could
been
have been
better.
better.
It
Yeah.
could have been better.
We're so in sync.
But the thing is like, the only thing that they held back was that because when you actually hear the story of this dude, It's so unreal that
Like,
you
you
can't
really-
believe it's true,
Yeah,
but it is.
dude, you watch this movie and you think this is so dramatized, but actually it is censored as fuck.
Yeah.
It is not dramatized enough. Like, when you listen to the interview from the actual dude this movie is about, it's 10 times worse. You're like, man, they really softened that shit up for us. Okay, anyways, next.
So I'm going to save this one for last because I think that we're both going to really enjoy talking about it.
Yeah,
So,
it's literally what I was going to say next. Really?
So, yeah, let's save that
Have
one
we-
for last.
Okay,
That way we can really have fun
have
with
we
it.
already talked about this before?
No,
We haven't?
We have referenced, but
We've
we have not
referenced it.
talked
Okay,
about it.
Okay, because I
So-
literally was next on my list.
So the movie that I'm going to choose next, that I think that if you have not seen it, you need to fucking watch this. I know Sage hasn't seen it, but I watched it when I was in the hospital, and absolutely, oh god, so good. I can see why it won awards and stuff, but it's called Glory.
Oh.
Yeah, and
No, I was there. I just slept.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you didn't actually watch it all the way through. Because I was waking her up going, damn, that's accurate. Damn, that's cool. Like, I was actually like...
I'm just like, shut the
really,
fuck up. I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, I was really into it. And, oh god, I can't remember the actor's name. That the main actor, Ferris Bueller, fucking...
Just click on it.
Um,
Oh, I remember this movie now. Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard this movie, but I was not watching anything.
yeah, let me get his name pulled up. But, I mean, it has Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington, when Denzel Washington was
Yeah,
still
it's
trying to
about,
make himself
like,
a name.
All
And,
black platoon. Platoon.
they were called...
Platoon.
Yes, but they were called Buffalo Soldiers. And
Oh.
it was Matthew Broderick. You had Matthew Broderick, Carrie Elwes, Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, Andre Braugher
Whoa. And
from
it was-
Nine-Nine, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, yeah.
You had...
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, you had just a phenomenal fucking
you know
cast.
What? I think I did actually like.
You watched part
I
of
was
it,
like, I
but,
watched a little bit of it.
but
with
you didn't see the ending. You fell asleep.
No,
on the
I did
ending.
finally actually fall asleep because
But-
she actually shut the fuck up.
Man, for being based in the Civil War, and for a lot of people that don't know, because I know history classes aren't teaching this anymore, but thankfully they did in
What
mine.
war is it based off?
Based off the Civil War, but the Buffalo Soldiers were, yes, they were a bunch of freed slaves
Is there a
that,
song based on
yes, by Bob Marley,
that? That's what I
actually.
thought because I'm listening to it
Um,
right now in my head.
So, like, they were a bunch of free slaves that were like, okay, well, I want to actually go and serve my country and try to become even more free and get more, like, get my own thing going. So the unions offered them that chance.
Yeah, didn't they offer them money if
Yeah.
if they fought that they could have like
Yeah, they would get money and land and all that kind
yeah,
of
it
stuff,
was like
too.
the smallest, most piece of land.
Right, but these guys were willing to sacrifice their fucking life
It was something though.
for something that they could do. And of course, they're going through all these hard times from white troops, even from Union white troops that are sitting there just
Oh, of
berating
course,
them
of
like, you
course.
guys ain't nothing, all this and that.
Yeah.
To where when they finally get to their final battle, they're cheering them on of like, holy shit, you guys are just as brave as we are. Like, we commend you, all this and that. It's an absolute
I gotta add a movie to my
beautiful
list real
fucking
quick.
movie. And Matthew Broderick's fucking growth in this movie of his character is so phenomenal. So honestly, Glory is a 10 out of 10 for me for a war film and to be as accurate as it could. Yes, we will talk about that one
Okay,
next
so
because
yes.
that's a good one
Yeah.
and it goes right along the lines of this. So Glory
Yes.
is a 10 out of 10.
And this movie
And
that we watch like a million times a year.
I watch it every year on 4th of July. I have to. It's just so good. But you need to watch Glory. You need to finish it
I need
because
to
you are
finish
gonna.
it. I do.
I believe it's still on Hulu. If not, it's on Tubi. So
One a movie we watch a lot would be Patriot.
yes, The Patriot, not
The Patriot.
not the Steven Seagal Patriot, but The Patriot with Mel Gibson, the Australian actor who did a great job of representing what it was like for the Revolutionary War of a man who got tired of fucking dealing with taxation and unrepresentation, all that kind of shit. Like, honestly, God, if you
I
haven't
think he
seen
was
The
just trying
Patriot,
to protect his homestead. I don't think he really cared
well,
about the war.
he was actually his character was based on being a soldier who fought in the Indian War and was done fighting, wanted to just live it out the rest of his days, trying to raise a family and grow a farm and all that kind of stuff. But when the king came over and said, "No, we're taking everything back because you colonists are fucking
You
being
colonists."
being disrespectful little brats," he said even then he was still saying no, I don't want to do this, trying to keep his kids out of it, but his kids wanted to live up to their father's name, so they get into one of them gets killed, and that just sets him off of like, dude, I fought for the king and all this and that, and this is how he's going to treat me and my family, to where they woke up, as the Japanese said to about America in World War II, was that we woke up the sleeping dragon. And that's kind of what happened here in this film. But it goes on a lot of real events, real things that happened in the Revolutionary War, which is fucking amazing that they added this in there and made it work for their film. But the actual character that Mel Gibson is playing isn't real. There were guys that were similar to him during that time, but he is not playing or portraying a real person like some of the other actors in the movie.
Yeah, I really like that movie.
I love that movie. I think it's very good.
It's funny. I like the dogs.
The dogs.
I like he went to go give him back, and then like as he was leaving, he whistled, and the dogs went with him.
Yeah. Heath Ledger, of course. Heath Ledger was becoming a superstar at this point when this movie came out. But he had some funny moments. He had some compelling fucking interactions. So yeah, if you haven't seen Patriot, you gotta watch it. If you haven't seen Glory, go fucking watch these films. I'm telling you, you guys are gonna love these films. And if you don't, it's okay. But go ahead and leave us a comment down below what you think where they could have done better or what was wrong with it and shit. Like, we would love to hear about it. There's going to be a movie now on my list, because that was one of Sage's. Goes on the same lines of Glory and not necessarily Revolutionary War, but back in the Civil War. Won a shit ton of awards, and it's one of my favorites. I remember watching it when it came out, and I absolutely loved it. I think that's where I kind of fell in love with like history a little bit more, was the movie Cold Mountain.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, Cold Mountain. It is a great fucking film. Nicole Kidman, Jude Law, and Renee Zellweger. Even with your boy Charlie Hunnam. He is in it he plays the albino.
Oh, I do know this movie. Yep, because Charlie Hunnam and the albino.
Yep. This movie won awards. It was like a modern day Gone with the Wind style Civil War film, which is fucking great. And by the way, I'm not going to talk about Gone with the Wind, but it is a must-see if you've never seen it. It is a good one. Because I was watching a tattoo react the other day, and it was him reacting to a tattoo artist that did a Gone with the Wind portrait. And he was like, I don't know what this is from, all this and that. And I'm like, that's Gone with the Wind. That's the most famous scene from Gone with the Wind, where he's looking down on her and she's looking up at him and shit. Like, it's one of the most famous. So if you guys haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a 3-hour-long film. But it's really good. It actually
Gone
goes.
with the Wind?
Yeah, it goes through a long.
Well, that's not the movie we're talking about.
I know. I'm giving it a quick shout out. So just go watch it. It's a good film. It's older film. It's based off of a book. It's done almost shot for shot what the book is. But now we're going back to Cold Mountain. Cold Mountain was fucking great because it goes into it's a good love story, but the action of battle and stuff is genuine. It makes you feel like you are.
It's a war movie?
Yeah, this is a Civil War based movie, and this guy gets sent off because back then you got drafted. You didn't get to choose; you got sent. Which we're not going to talk about the draft, but so he gets drafted and he goes out there and he does what he's supposed to. He gets discharged and he has to make his journey all the way back home. On his journey, all he's doing is praying to get back to his woman, and his woman, Nicole Kidman, ends up meeting meeting this woman named, I can't remember her name, but Renee Zellweger. She meets her, and they become friends, and they start working on the homestead together to keep it up and going as they're trying to fucking deal with the life of the Civil War without a man around. And all in all, it's really good. Like, his journey to get home is a fucking fight and struggle on its own.
I understand it's set during a time of war.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I count it as a war movie, because it's just him trying to get home.
No, it really is considered a war movie. It's on the list here of a war movie, and it really is. Like, their Battle of Gettysburg that they put in there is fucking gruesome. It's a straight-up battle.
Would you consider Dances with Wolves a war movie, then?
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, then I have to put it on my list.
Dances with Wolves is a war movie, and it is yet again a good film. It's
one of my favorite films.
Oh yeah, I love Dances with Wolves. It's a good one. So Cold Mountain, I'm definitely gonna give a 9 out of 10. But if you haven't seen it, go check it out. If you got a girl that you're like, hey, you know what? I don't know what we should watch. watch that film with her. It is a good little fucking romantic movie that you guys can sit down and watch. So what's next on your list?
American Sniper.
Yes, okay, American Sniper, the Chris Kyle story. Yeah.
I love that movie.
I fucking love it. I love it. And I remember when we were watching it, you were asking me, like, how the fuck did they get all this information to know about him and shit? But the thing is, they had his friends, because when they made this movie, he was already dead, but they had his friends, his wife, and the books and stuff that were all written. So they had plenty of material to go off of to get the things that they did for this film. But even watching some of the other people that had worked with Chris Kyle and all that kind of stuff, they're kind of like, yeah, we had our conflictions with the movie because that some of this stuff wasn't really Chris, but we see why they went with that direction and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah.
I mean, they didn't say it was a horrible movie or it was completely inaccurate. They were just like, there were some things that were done that wasn't true or didn't really happen, but
or an exaggeration of the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gotta make the movie juicy.
Yeah. Bradley Cooper, though, man,
he did so good. Oh, he just embodies his roles.
Yeah.
I forget who he is every time he is in a movie.
Yet again, this is a guy that we saw as a comedic actor going from The Hangover to
American Sniper, then a raccoon.
well, then we saw him in A Star Is Born.
Yeah, Star Is Born.
But when we first saw him, we're kind of just like, this fucking comedic actor is going to try to take this on. Like, what the fuck? Like, you wouldn't really picture this. And then when you see him in the role, you're just kind of like, damn. Like, he got beefed.
He got real beefed for American Sniper.
Yeah,
well, he had
did.
to. Look who he was trying to portray.
Yeah, he did. American Sniper is going to be a 10 out of 10. It's definitely in my top 10 films that I'm okay with watching.
I love how they really made like PTSD such a hard thing, and it's not like he realized he had PTSD and so he's like, okay, I don't have PTSD now because I realized I have PTSD. No, it's something you have to work through for the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah,
it is never gonna go away just because you realize you have it. It's not like admit you have it and then it will go away. No, it's something you have to work through forever.
Yeah. And now there, like I said, there are hundreds, almost a couple thousand war movies out there. So we haven't seen them all, but we're giving you a list of some of these that are more relevant and more that are up there.
I straight up did ones that are on the top of my head. He's over here with a list in front of him.
Yeah.
He's online.
So like with some of these, like Act of Valor, I've seen it. It was okay. It wasn't like fucking a good one. I mean,
yeah,
it's watchable.
There's a lot on that list that I've seen that I'm just like, I skipped over that.
Yeah. So like Act of Valor and fucking where was the other one I saw just a second ago? I mean, there's so many fucking war movies out here that it's hard to keep up with, but like there's just some that you can really breeze right the fuck over. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to go on some nostalgic, good fucking films, Apocalypse Now or fucking Hamburger Hill.
Hamburger Hill, jeez, man.
Yeah.
I watched that in college.
You watched it whenever I also bought the Full Metal Jacket, Hamburger Hill, and Apocalypse Now bundle.
Yeah. When you played it, I was like, dude, we watched this in our history class in college.
Yeah. So I mean, but there's a lot of underdeveloped, undermade films that are kind of like, yeah, okay, it's a war movie, but it's not something that stands out to you. These are going to be the ones that stand out to you. Like, I'm not going to really talk about this one, but it did stand out to me, and it was really fucking good. Mm-hmm. I just seen it here. Where'd my list go?
So many titles up there,
bro. So one like 13 Hours. I'm not going to go into it because honestly,
remember that movie.
It's a very convoluted fucking thing to talk about because of what happened. Because it's based off of an actual fucking event of the Benghazi U.S. Embassy being raided and soldiers were killed and shit like that. Mm. It's supposed to be based off of that, which I get. The main actor for that film, yet again, another comedic actor who fucking beefed up and got into this role, who did a fucking good job in that film. We got to see even more better presence from him in The Quiet Place.
A lot of comedic actors do that.
I think it's because they're actually getting the time to show what their range is.
Like, they do their comedic roles, and then like their first serious role is normally like a soldier.
Yeah.
Like, that's the good transition, is from comedy, become a soldier, and then once you've learned to do a soldier, you can do any serious role after that.
Yeah. So, like 13 Hours, I'm not going to talk about, but it is one that you could watch. I mean, I would recommend it. I still got to see Zero Dark 30, which...
Yeah, I don't... I don't know.
That one's got, Josh Hartnett in that.
A lot of people talk about that one, so maybe.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's next on your list?
So, next one on my list that I got two right here that I'm seeing that I'm like, I want to talk about both of them. But the first one I want to talk about is Lone Survivor with Mark Wahlberg. It's actually got a bunch of other good actors in that film. It's so fucking good. Like,
I don't know that one either.
I watched it with Dad. You weren't with me when I watched it, but I watched it with him, and damn, I was like, that's a fucking good movie. And if I ever find it again, I'm gonna have you watch it with me because it is a good one. I would give it an 8 out of 10 on all around, but if you guys haven't seen it, check out Lone Survivor. Lone Survivor is a good fucking film.
Next on my list, Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Oh my god.
That is a war movie, so
yes,
it
it is. No, it is. Boy in the Striped Pajamas. God damn that movie. Like, you watched it before I did, and then you had me sit down and watch it.
I'm like, you gotta watch this, man.
You've seen all these war movies. You've got to watch this one.
That's exactly what I said. I
was like,
you love war movies. I love war movies. You gotta watch Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Yeah, and
it's a slower one.
I regret watching that because that ending fucked me up.
That ending is so fucked.
Oh my god, that movie fucked me up so bad.
It's a slower movie. It doesn't have a lot of battle scene in it.
Yeah, it's a life life during a war, and it being a child whose father is part of the war effort itself.
The Nazi party, yeah.
Yeah, and him having to fucking try to figure out where he fits in with all that. Yeah, I mean...
That movie is...
It's good. It's good. If you have not seen it...
Prepare yourself.
Just be prepared. We're not saying don't watch it.
It's about concentration camps.
Yes.
So don't go in it thinking it's going to be a beautiful ending, because there's not.
Yeah, it's one of those...
It's about a concentration camp.
Exactly. It's definitely... It's a good one. What else do you got?
So I was like, so with that one being said, the next one must be Schindler's List.
Yep. Schindler's List. Man, I just watched that for the first time. Did you? Was that your first time?
That was my first time too.
We both watched that for the first time just 2 weeks ago, and god damn it!
That was so good.
It was fucking phenomenal.
And to know that was real just blew me away.
Yes, this is all a true goddamn story. The survivors were talking about this, given all the little things in there.
Like everything in it happened because the people at the end of the movie that they got to see it and everything. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that gave all that information. So that's how you know that this was a real story, because the people who were portrayed in the movie were the ones who told this movie.
Yeah, Liam Neeson he did such a great job
as
Schindler.
Yeah.
And then Ben Kingsley. Ben Kingsley, you guys probably know him better as Voldemort, but
oh my gosh, he was so evil. I loved him. Yeah,
he was so evil, so fucking maniacal in this film that it actually trumps his portrayal of Voldemort by far.
Yeah. Like, I'd rather deal with Voldemort.
Yeah, for real. Like, this dude was straight up genocidal. He did not give a fuck. But Ben Kingsley did such a great job of fucking portraying it. Like, this is why we say you need to see Judgment Night, because that movie came out in 1993 along with fucking Jurassic Park, which are both Jurassic Park and Schindler's List are Steven Spielberg creations, and they both won so many awards at the fucking academies that...
Oh, yeah, that blew us away. We're just like, he was making Schindler's List and Jurassic Park at the same time.
Yeah.
And they both won awards that same year.
So that's why we're saying go back and check out Judgment Night, because, yes, you had such huge blockbusters
It was
back
overshadowed, so go back and watch that movie.
So... But yeah,
what's on your next
Schindler's List is a good one. Of course, I gave honorable mentions to Full Metal Jacket and Apocalypse Now. I'm not going to go dive into those. You got other people that can give you way better deep dives.
I'm surprised you haven't said Inglourious Bastards yet.
Inglourious Bastards was good for an alternate universe style.
Oh, I've got some alternate universe ones on my list.
Okay.
Well, I've got 2 alternate universe movies on my list, so go ahead.
Well, I just seen this one right here, and I'm just like, hell yeah, I've watched it in high school. It was really good. The Last of the Mohicans. That
That
was
sounds familiar. Have I seen that?
you probably have. It was a story about the Indian wars that we had here in America and shit.
Yeah.
So it was more of a war movie for the Native Americans and things of that nature. But it was really good. I remembered it, and just seeing that poster, I was like, all that shit just came flooding back of how good it was, and I'm just like, yeah, it's a long fucking. It's like, I think it's like 4 or 5 hours. Like they had to break that down, but it's pretty good.
I love watching Dances with Wolves, so I can handle a long ass movie.
Yeah, and see, like, there's Gone with the Wind again. I'm telling you. Patton, I still need to see Patton. I heard Patton was fucking great.
I've never heard of it. All right, I got some on my list.
Okay.
Red Dawn. That's one of my alternate universe movies.
Which one? The 1980s
The new
film,
one. I
or
don't have the. I've never watched the old one.
Okay, so you'd rather choose Chris Hemsworth over Charlie Sheen.
Well, not Chris Hemsworth. The which one is he? Drake or Josh?
Josh.
Josh. I think he did really good in that movie.
Yeah, I thought he was a lot better in that one, but all in all, it still didn't stand up to the original predecessor.
I've never seen the original.
The original was a lot better. It really was.
I just really like those movies.
Don't get me wrong. For being a remake, I don't think it was necessarily... it was like a reboot because they changed who the villains were. So...
Well, they had to. They had to make it...
Yeah, because we weren't in the Cold War anymore, so they kind of changed it out. But all in all, like, for being a reboot, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
Well,
I just... Okay, you got another one for your list? Because I got 2 more movies and I'm done.
Go ahead with yours, and we'll continue this one.
Okay. These last two are they're not going to be on your list.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hannibal Rising.
No, it's not going to be on my war list, but it is a war.
Hannibal Rising. That one is a war movie. It is central around soldiers in the middle of a.
Yeah, but then where are we stopping from saying, like, X-Men Days of Future Past and shit like that, you know?
We're not, man. Do you count that as a war movie? Do you like it?
I mean...
Exactly, go ahead. That's why at the beginning of this episode...
Well, I thought we were going to be talking about, like, just legitimate war movies, not...
Oh, no, because my next one is even more atrocious than Hannibal Rising. My next one, you're going to laugh.
Okay, so Hannibal Rising is a good fucking film. It was a great prequel to Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal and all that kind of stuff and Red Dragon. The guy who did play Hannibal was really fucking good, and I thought he was very underrated for his role in that.
I like watching that movie as if it has nothing to do with Silence of the Lambs or anything like that.
Not yet.
Yeah, I know. Eventually he does turn into Hannibal Lecter, but I like watching it just standalone. Just standalone movie. You know?
What's your name? Standalone.
Standalone.
Oh. All right. So, are you miserable? Yes, all day, every day, because I'm standalone.
That's standalone.
Oh, damn it. Didn't mean to be biased on somebody's name.
Standalone.
Okay, I can see what you're saying, it being a standalone movie, but
yeah. Shut up.
It's really not bad. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it and you like Silence of the Lamb, if you've only watched Silence of the Lamb, you really need to go and watch Hannibal and Red Dragon.
Yeah.
And
Hannibal. If you watch them in order, it'd be Hannibal Rising, Red Dragon.
Yes.
Hannibal.
Mm-hmm.
Silence of the Lambs.
But don't watch the Hannibal TV series because it will fuck you up.
Oh it changes. It changes the story.
It will. Don't try to put that in there because it will fuck you up on trying to watch it.
Yeah, watch the movies or the TV show.
Yeah.
If you do both, just aware that they're totally different timelines. Those are alternate universes from each other.
Yeah. And I know some people are probably sitting here just like, well, what about Rambo? Rambo was a war movie. You know what? The first one is a great fucking film. If you've not watched the first Rambo, I highly suggest you go watch it. Understand that was in the 70s. So, yeah, a lot of the shit that he was dealing with in that time.
Isn't he a at-home veteran?
Yes, he was a veteran that came home from the war who ended up becoming what a definition of special forces were back then.
Yeah, but I don't count that as a war movie because he's not in the middle of war. He's at home. That's
Right.
a veterans movie.
But he's also suffering from immense amount of PTSD,
Yeah.
and that's what triggers the whole thing to start.
Like those are two different categories to me. Those are movies that are at the same time as a war going on, and then there are movies that are focused on war itself.
Yeah, but I look
That's
at...
why I didn't really count Dances with Wolves, because it focuses more on him interacting with the Native Americans.
Okay, I can see that.
That's why I didn't really count it.
Well, I'm going to say don't watch the other Rambos, because the other Rambos were kind of just... They lost their finesse after the first one, but the first one, go watch it. It's actually really good. All right, so what was your next one?
Overlord.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about that film. Overlord was...
That is a monster movie, but
It is
it
a
was
monster
in the
movie.
middle of World War II, so...
Yeah, it was all about the science experiments that the
Yep.
Nazis had performed of, like, what's his name, Mengele. You had tons of scientists back
Yeah.
then that were doing all this kind of stuff. So
all
they...
sorts of nasty, diabolical things on human beings.
Mhm.
And that was all real. That actually did happen. But Overlord is about it as if it really were science fiction.
And if it succeeded.
Yeah, and it succeededly made monstrous things.
Mm-hmm. And it's not bad. It's really not. It's one of those, like, when you go into it, look at it as it's a video game and
Mhm.
just have fun with it.
'Cause that's exactly what it's based off of,
Yep.
right?
It's based... I think it's loosely based off the video game, but
Okay.
kind of like how Doom was.
Okay, so if you want to count that as a war movie,
Mm,
and you're like, well, what stops you from doing X-Men or all that kind of stuff? Okay, I got one then.
'kay.
Hellboy. The first one. With Ron
you
Perlman.
get a brief fucking deal of...
Yeah, I'm saying it doesn't focus enough on war itself to be
If
counted.
you want to do that, then the Hot Shots Part 1 and Part 2 are... They're war movies.
What?
My spoof movies that you fucking hate so badly with Charlie Sheen.
Oh! Yeah, those are war movies.
Yeah, the first one's all about Maverick. And I know people are like, what about Top Gun? Top Gun and Maverick were fucking great.
Were
Never
they-
seen them? Don't care to see them?
Oh yeah, he's
I'm
never
alright with
seen
that.
them. I've seen them, and I've seen them so long ago. Is there actually war in them, or is it just them
They
training?
do. They do go do like a battle at the end.
Is there a
Like,
battle?
I've never seen these movies, but they've been talked about so much in pop culture that I kind of know where they're going and what happened. That I'm just like, oh, okay.
Like, weren't they just made for the female gaze? I can't remember. Aren't they just sex movies? I don't know.
I think the first film was literally to homoeroticize the Air
Well,
Force.
that's what the remake was for sure too, because that's the only clips that are online is the
Mhm.
fucking shirtless ones.
Yeah, I think that people are just like when straight guys are like, yeah, man, that movie's so fucking badass and all this and that. I'm like, how many times have you watched them play volleyball? I think you need to have a discussion with your inner self to realize where you are. Just saying.
Hey, you know my opinion. I think everyone is bisexual.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Although I just never really cared. I mean, Tom Cruise has got some other movies out there that I'm like, yeah, that's way better and some more memorable characters for me than him being Maverick. And the fucking sequel or remake or whatever you want to
The
call
remake.
it fucking bombed so badly that, and I know so many people that are like, it was so good, it was so
Did it
good.
bomb? I
It
didn't
bombed
know.
in box office, but it
I
picked
didn't
up
watch
on
the second
it
one.
picked up on the fucking platforms like when it aired on Paramount Plus.
That's because everyone just like no one goes to the movies. They just wait for it to come out on the platform.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm not going to say they're horrible movies. They're just not for me. They're not something I'm going to go out of my time to watch, you know. I mean,
He says that about some things, and then we go and we're like we're bored, so we watch them, like Andor,
shut up.
and he ends up being wrong.
You know what? I am not the only one that has said that shit. I have actually seen other people do reviews on this, and they said the same thing. They're like, you know what? I had to insert my foot in my mouth because of the things that have happened before that I had to fucking do that. So, but yeah, the Top Gun films, I'm just like, no.
I have a feeling that if he actually went and watched the original Top Gun, that he might actually like it.
I made for Val Kilmer because I like Val Kilmer. But the next movie I'd like to talk about that is a good one, and it's another Mel Gibson war movie that has your boy Sam Elliott in it, along with Ryan Hurst. Yeah. Which, before we actually do that, I'm going to give an honorable mention to Shadow Riders with Tom Selleck and Sam Elliott. Great fucking film. Really good one. Civil War based. Fun. It's a fun film. So if you guys ever were like, why didn't Tom Selleck and Sam Elliott do a movie? They did, called Shadow Riders. Check it out. You can find it. I own it, so it's good. But We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson, Sam Elliott, and fucking Ryan Hurst, and all. I think Josh Hartnett's in that too. Or I might be confusing
How old
him.
is Ryan Hurst for being in all these older movies?
Well, We Were Soldiers came out in like early 2000. I think it was like 2001, 2002. Like it's not that old.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how old is Ryan Hurst though?
I think he's in his early 50s now.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I thought he was just a little bit older than us.
He might be in his mid to late 40s now, but
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
But yeah, We Were Soldiers was a good one, and it's based off of an actual battle and all that kind of stuff. All around, it's a fun film to watch. It's heart wrenching. It's action. It's got a little bit of romance. All
Me
this
never
and that.
seen that.
Yeah, well, I haven't. It's a really good one. It really is. And yes, you are going to be reading subtitles because
God damn it.
because when they do, I believe it's the Japanese that they talk to, or is it the Vietnamese? Which one is that based in? I think it's based in the Vietnam War or Korean War. So it's based
One of
in
those, yeah.
it's based in one of those wars, but you'll be reading subtitles because they want to make it as authentic as they could by actually letting them speak their natural language, and we just got to read. It's still not bad.
I'm fine. I can read.
I was talking to the audience that's listening to this.
I can read quickly.
But-
It's you that can't.
But all in all, it's a really good fucking fun film. Of course, we could talk about Pearl Harbor, but Pearl Harbor
You know,
itself.
I almost put it on my list, but then I was just like, people talk about the movie too much.
Yeah, well, some of it was over dramatized. They didn't really need to give us a fucking love story in that film, but it helped keep audiences in the seats to see.
It's such a strange love story.
It really is. But they did it
had
so
nothing
they can
to do with the movie.
because that was the whole point, is that if they try to make a whole movie about Pearl Harbor, people would be walking out of there just
Yeah,
like,
it'd be
oh my
boring,
god, this is
boring.
right. Unlike me, who is a fucking history nerd, I love that shit.
Oh,
where
yeah.
I would have stayed, but they had to bring in a love story and all that. Which, don't get me wrong, Kate motherfucking Beckinsale,
I'm
Jesus.
like, me too, man. Kate
Mm.
Beckinsale.
Yeah.
Celine.
But it's a good film. It could have been a little bit better. I don't like, a lot of people didn't like Ben Affleck, which I'm like, yeah, they could have chose somebody else, especially back then when we had, like, I think the film would have been 10 times better with Heath Ledger. He was alive back then to actually do it.
I liked Ben Affleck. I like Ben Affleck.
If anything, they could have kept Ben Affleck and changed out Josh Hartnett for Heath Ledger. Like, I felt Heath Ledger should have been more into one of those roles than...
Well, maybe he was doing something at the time.
Or if anything, just put Matt Damon. Ben Affleck
Yeah, I
and
was
Matt
like,
Damon in
Ben
there.
Affleck, Matt Damon. The
I mean, those
daring
two,
duo.
Yeah, those two fucking already bounce off each other very well.
Why the fuck was he not in Daredevil? It would have saved that movie.
Maybe. But, so, yeah, Pearl Harbor we're going to leave out. But We Were Soldiers, check it out. So now we're going to get down to our final film. Because, like I said, we got tons of films that we could talk about. But we're not going to bore you out with that.
I feel like we've talked about this film before, this next one we're about to talk about. But if we haven't, then we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
Or, like, yeah. Whatever I just said. Sure enough.
Just roll with it.
I'm rolling.
We're going to be talking about the Brad Pitt fucking phenomenon film. And
Phenomenal.
no, it is not Inglourious Bastards. No, it is going to be Fury.
Inglourious Basterds is a good honorable mention, though.
No, we've mentioned it earlier in this episode, so
Okay.
we're good with that. And trust me, if you
Anyways,
guys,
Fury.
if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. It is a great Quentin Tarantino film of an alternate timeline. So, Fury. All right, so Fury. Where do you sit on with this absolute immaculate film?
9 out of 10. And only a 9 because of the sad ending.
Was it that sad, or was it well put?
It was poetic. I loved it.
Mm.
But it was sad, so it gets a 9.
Yet again, this movie is fucking phenomenally cast. I mean, John Bernthal, fucking Brad Pitt, God, what's his name from Even Stevens? Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Fucking, even the kid from Percy Jackson. which I don't know his name, but I'm just like
I hated his character.
I thought he did a lot better acting in this one than he did in some of the other films that I've seen him in.
It was great. I know that he was like important, but I hated it.
I don't know. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty well done for a kid who was just thrown from being pulled from home, given basic, and then be put into one of the worst situations to be put in.
Yeah, he was like freaking. What was he like?
He was a typist.
Yeah, it was fucking typist. And they're like, throw him in a freaking tank. Yeah, good job, military. Let's just kill people.
Back then, there wasn't any.
I know, but I feel like they would have done better if he hadn't been there at all.
They probably would have. They probably would have done
like,
it with somebody who was a little bit more experienced and stuff.
Or nobody at all. Because they were fine just going with themselves. They didn't feel like they needed the extra person. And I feel like they might have survived if they hadn't been worrying about the fucking punk-ass kid.
Mm.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it's a 9. It's because of that one character. Everything else was a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, I mean, John Bernthal, he gave another stellar performance. Like, every time I see him in something, it's really good. And I'm not just talking about The Punisher. Like, when I saw him in Ford versus Ferrari, he was very memorable. Like, when I seen him in, what's the name of that movie? And I lost it.
Isn't he also in Saving Private Ryan?
No, he's not.
Who was that character then? Who's like all like, pretty much acts the same way as his character.
Oh, the Jewish guy? God, I can't remember.
He acts the same way as...
Well, and it was because they're both portraying, like, what PTSD is.
Yeah. No, I understand. I'm just saying, like, I love that character in war movies.
Yeah.
They're always my favorite. I know, they're so mean and vicious and all that. I'm just like, but they're the realest fucking character in the movie.
Well, what the thing is, like, they're so mean and everything, but they actually, that's their way of showing their love anymore.
Yeah, because he fucking protected that kid, like,
Mm-hmm.
with his last breath, you know? I loved it. I was just like, oh. And he was so mean. But he died for that stupid fucking kid.
Yeah, Fury, though, I mean, the shots of the scenery alone was fucking great. It wasn't overdone in your face, but it was just, like, right there to where, yet again, you felt like you were a part of the crew sitting with all these guys trying to figure out how the fuck you're gonna do this. Like, and so honestly, it felt like it was in the same universe as Saving Private Ryan.
I've always thought that.
And it was just so well done. And if you guys have not seen Fury, which I think is ridiculous, but if you haven't seen any of these films, you need to go fucking see them and then leave us a comment down below.
I can't believe you. What do you mean you haven't seen these films? My God, go educate yourself.
But go check these fucking
films out. And then come back and tell me if you liked it.
Yeah, leave us a comment down below, or you could send us an in-depth email over at the Calling Couple Pod, pod@gmail.com, and let us fucking know on the full insight of what you think of these movies, or what you think of what we're saying, if you like it or not. We may or may not read it, but you know what? That's up for you to type out and let us know.
I dare you to send us an email that just says the words in depth and then push send.
Yeah, it's just blank.
Yeah, no, just because you said an in-depth email.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, just write in depth and then push send.
Yeah. I will take those two, and I will be replying with some.
That is some good. You have a good point there. You have a good point there.
Yeah. Like, dude.
Okay, you get a point there.
Which, yet again, I think one of these days we need to talk about our favorite comedy and spoof films.
We have like a whole episode about spoof movies.
Yep.
Because I have enough to make a list.
Yeah.
But you have every single fucking one ever fucking made. You guys love your stupid fucking spoof movies. I hate them so much.
There's going to be a war that's going to be made right now, and I'm declaring that spoofs are the best movies ever made.
I declare that you're a fucking idiot. Along with their stupid fucking spoof movies. Oh, I hate them so much.
All right, so Fury is a fucking well-rounded film, a very well-paced film. It doesn't keep you bored. It keeps you just on your edge long enough for you to be like, damn, get blown back by something really out of the wall. But yeah, I honestly, the way it was shot, it does feel like a straight up another area of Saving Private Ryan happening. Like, it feels like it's right there. Yes, I get it. I know people, it's part of the same fucking war. No shit. But I'm just saying that it feels like Steven Spielberg said, okay, I did that one, now I'm going to do this
If people
one.
watch
but
movies,
he didn't do it.
If people watch movies, they know what we mean when we say in the same universe. You've watched a Marvel movie in your life, haven't you? There are other multiverses. And every war movie that's made is not in the same war as another movie.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you just gotta...
That's why we say Inglourious Basterds is not on this list. Because it did not happen at the same time as Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, you know, we didn't even talk about Braveheart. Like, that's a war movie. Fucking great fucking war movie. Freedom! No, Braveheart's a good one. But honestly, people, go check out these fucking films and tell us what you think. Like, there's some really good ones. If you want to see a young Christian Bale as a child actor, there's a war film that he is in called Empire of the Sun. He is a kid doing this acting before he ever did American Psycho, Batman, any of that stuff. And he actually was very revered in that film too. Like, it's another good one. But there are so many out there that we haven't seen, but we have seen in other films that if you're looking for a good way to spend some time, these war movies may get you into, like, you know what, I want to check out some more. I want to go check out this one, or I heard about that one. That you're going to really be like, damn, okay, I didn't realize that. Like, I didn't even get to talk about fucking Heartbreak Ridge. Not Hacksaw Ridge, but Heartbreak Ridge.
I don't know what that is.
That fucking is a Clint Eastwood. It's a comedy style war movie. We didn't even get to talk about Private Benjamin. You fucking hated that film. Private Benjamin with Goldie Hawn, where she joins the military on accident, and then
I didn't hate it. I just don't like the ending.
which is a good one. It's another good, funny little, like, woman empower. That's a good woman empowerment film.
It would be if she had chosen women empowerment at the end of the fucking movie.
Well, she did. It was in the middle of the movie that she didn't. That you were like, what the fuck?
No, the end of the movie, she doesn't go back to the military where she was happy. She just runs off into nothingness. I'm just like,
okay.
I'm like,
yeah. And you know, we didn't even talk about, like, Platoon, which I know some people are like, what the fuck? You didn't even talk about Platoon. Which, and again, I haven't seen one, two. It's on my list.
We're not going to talk about everything because we want you guys to suggest your favorite war movies.
Yeah, and somebody's probably sitting there just like, well, you talked about Robin Williams earlier in 1 Hour Photo. Well, what about his fucking good war movie, the Good Morning Vietnam? Well, you know what? We haven't got to it yet.
You know what? How about you mention it?
Yeah, because like we said earlier in another episode, is that we're going to do something very fucking special for Robin Williams. So we're still working on it, but it is going to happen. And when we do it, you're going to either hate it or love it, but we got something set aside specially for that man. So, yes, Good Morning Vietnam is a good film, but we're going to get more depth with it later. So, I think we're just now spinning our wheels here of trying to figure out what we're going to talk about because, like I said, we got so much that we could. We just don't feel like we can get it all down in here without losing everybody's mind of trying to keep up.
Man, so, I'm fading.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, yeah, let's come back to this another day, but I feel that we've done pretty fucking well on this episode.
I did my list. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, so
go watch Overlord.
Yeah, go watch any of these films because honestly,
if you haven't seen Fury, go watch that. But I just assume everyone's watched it, so I'm not really like, oh, you got to go watch it because I assume everyone has.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what your background, your ethnicity, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a movie. When you go and watch these, sit down and just get lost in the story. Turn your phone off. Make you a snack. Get you a couple drinks, and just kick back and get what these movies are supposed to be is your escape from reality to enjoy them. Mm-hmm. Have fun with them because they are some good, phenomenal films. Other than that, if you're out there living life, try to find a peaceful way that you can help the world become at peace and stop all these wars so we can stop having some of these movies because some of these movies are based off of too close to home real events. And we need to try to change our ways as human beings. So if you're out there,
Yeah, turn war into a work of fiction.
And just try to be peaceful and try to be better and try to live yourself as the best that you would want others to treat you, like they say in the Bible. And
he said what he said.
Yeah, caca.